This knowledge of the sacred geometry structures of the human energy system opens up a hidden world which controls health and illness, our mind and emotions, and our latent spiritual potential.
Sacred geometry is a universal science for understanding the patterns of creation at every level, whether it's how the different spirituals are constructed, or different ranks of spiritual beings and their consciousness, or the different subtle bodies of a human being, whatever it plays as it pattern to it. And so no matter what tradition you study with, they will work with sacred geometry. Because the sacred geometry at the highest level is a pure, packed thought form from the mind of God that shows you the pure pattern of everything that's manifested from it. Now the next level is that of the clairvoyant. And from one perspective, we could say this is linked to the illumination of the heart and the feeling life. The Rosicrucians talk about a process within an initiation in which at a certain point, when the heart becomes open and unarmored, and we cultivate this feeling of unconditional love, there is an ignition of a kind of spiritual spark within the heart. And what happens then is that they describe it as an etheric rose light arises from the heart and moves up to what's commonly called the third eye center. And with that rose etheric stream, it enters into the centers in the head, that area that is technically at the third ventricle of the brain and was known as the cave of Brahma in the Indian teachings. This is a particular area that's open in the head that has a space between the pineal and pituitary glands. And as this space becomes illuminated, it leads to direct spiritual vision.
Before we begin any spiritual practice, we can start by seeing what our baseline of energy and consciousness is before we start the practice. This is very important because this way we can observe changes that occur as a result of the practice. This helps us to know the exact effects any practice has on us, rather than relying on another person's word about what those effects are. We call this first and last step of any spiritual exercise the Energy Field Awareness Practice, or EFAP for short. It's very simple. Just close your eyes for a moment and tune into the feeling of energy in and around your body. What does it feel like at the energy level? Then observe what is currently in your mind and emotions. What is in your thoughts and in your emotional feelings here at the beginning of the practice? It's important that you don't try to change anything. The Energy Field Awareness practice is just about seeing what is actually present inside of you here at the beginning. Now we can begin the practice itself. Become aware of the crown center at the top of your head, feeling the vibration of that chakra. Slowly move your awareness straight up above your crown center until you find the first location, which feels like a miniature sun of energy and light above your head. Place your attention into the very epicenter of that first chakra above your head. This is the initial sacred geometry point to activate with your attention for this practice. Next, we will activate two hidden energy centers, one above each shoulder, which have been almost forgotten in modern times. Start by placing your attention at the top of your right shoulder. Move your attention slowly above your right shoulder until you again become aware of a miniature sun of energy and light at this location. Put your attention into the very epicenter of the power spot above your right shoulder to activate it. With that point above the right shoulder activated, now move your attention to your left shoulder. Move your attention above your left shoulder until you find the miniature sun of light and energy at that location. Put your attention into the very epicenter of the power spot above your left shoulder to activate it. You now have 3 of these energy centers activated in your energy field. With your mind power, draw a line of light from the center above the right shoulder to the center above the left shoulder. You have now created a one-dimensional line between these 2 energy points. Then, using your mind power, connect to the epicenter of the energy center above your head and draw a line of energy from the center above your head to the center above your right shoulder. And then another line of light from the center above your head down to the center above your left shoulder, so that both are now connected to the center above your head. This now has created a two-dimensional plane around your head, in the form of the simplest two-dimensional geometric form made with straight lines, the triangle. Held within the triangle of force anchored on the 3 points, the one above your head and the two above the shoulders, is the golden divine light inside this triangle, which is used in many traditions around the world to attune a person to higher consciousness states. Pull in golden light from the sun of energy above the head to fill up the 2D triangle around your head. Feel that golden divine light stabilized in the triangle of force around your head. Allow that golden divine light to clear detrimental thought forms from your head and to bring in powerful spiritual awakening forces. Feel that golden divine light penetrate any dark space in your head and your brain, opening and clearing every aspect of your thoughts and your higher consciousness. Allow any blockages or stuck energy in your head to melt away with the radiant golden light inside the triangle, like dew evaporating in the light of the sun. This golden triangle is very powerful by itself if properly activated and infused with divine golden light. What we're talking about here is, I call it 0-point centering. What all these traditions teach, mostly in the East, about going into the center of the center, and then you're traveling through the inner world and you're activating the gland, the organ, whatever it might be, to become an organ of spiritual perception. Then from that center, once it's triggered, you have that second movement that the Western traditions tend to focus on, where it's moving outward and becomes a sphere of light and energy. So for example, in the Greek Christian Hermetic tradition, with the teacher Stylianos Ateshlis from Cyprus, who was known to the public as Daskalos, great Greek Christian Hermetic teacher, one of the first things he would teach in his initiation school is, he didn't teach going into the center, only out from it. And you go out from the center and you create a golden sphere around the head, a rose sphere around the chest and around the heart, and a blue sphere around the lower abdomen, mostly to calm those energies. But what you're doing is you're then allowing those energies that you've tapped into by opening up that divine gate in the center to flood out and to actually become part of your energetic field. And so your energetic field expands, and the vibrational qualities from that expansion, like the gold sphere around the head, then begins to literally illuminate our thoughts and our consciousness. So we need to have an understanding of the complete movement. Again, most traditions just go in or they just go out. It's really a breathing process, just like we breathe in and we breathe out and we contract and we expand. That's true for all of these things.